When I thought I needed sunshine, well, the good Lord, He sent rain. When I thought I needed healing, I had my share of pain. I'm looking for the mountaintop, but the valley's all I see. Well, the good Lord surely seems to know exactly what I need. He knows exactly what I need to walk the narrow way. He knows how to make me humble, and He knows how to make me pray. He knows when dark clouds cover my sky, and I'm walking the valley so low. I'll be on my knee, calling to Him. It's the only place to go. When I thought I had friendship, well, I had to stand alone. When I thought I was doing right, the Lord said you were wrong. When I thought I needed a blessing, well, I've had my share of trial. Now I know what it means to suffer for a while. He knows exactly what we need to walk the narrow way. He knows how to make us humble, and He knows how to make us pray. He knows when the cloud cover our sky, and we're walking the valley so low. Just get on your knees and call to Him. It's the only place to go.
Yes, it is.
I've thoroughly enjoyed what I've been listening to tonight, and certainly thankful that to be here with you tonight at the Hurricane Gap Church, and wanted to get back over this way for a while now, and saddened that I didn't get to make it over before Brother Charles had passed, and then at his passing, knew him for a long time, and very good and capable minister, but he wouldn't want us to meet here and to talk about him, but and none of these other brethren would want us to meet and talk about them. But you know, the beautiful thing about someone passing like Brother Charles is when you talk about him, you're talking about Christ. When you talk about things that we came to enjoy, Brother Josh, it was because of the connection that we had through Christ. And that connection today is more meaningful, and it's a must in order for us to be able to fellowship and worship with one another. We have to have that connection, because that connection is Christ.
Yes, it is.
And
Yes, it is.
it's what causes us when we come together to rejoice, to enjoy church the way we do, to enjoy one another the way we do. Most churches that have one preacher that preaches every Sunday, every now and then maybe has someone come in different, but mainly has the same choir that sings. They've accustomed themselves to that and things. But our people, we've always enjoyed and kind of accustomed ourselves to difference, to different ministers, to different singing, and it's what makes us enjoy going to church, is because we're going to hear something different we're going to feel something different.
Yes, we are.
And if we didn't have that tonight, I liked what Brother Josh said when he was talking about the dream and the lining of the song part. He said, and that just may have been my preference, and that's because of the things that we've been blessed over time to grow up with in life. And you know, Brother Darrell, I love to hear the songs line today, but even that has to be done right. And even that, there needs to be a good sound there into it. It's not the people that don't belong to the old Baptist family that has quit coming around because of line singing. That didn't have nothing to do with it. Most people that don't like it or have gotten to where they don't like it is because of maybe some that hasn't done it in the tradition that it was done. There was a sound in it, Brother Clyde.
Yes.
And you know, today it's just like singing. It don't matter if you're lining your song or you're singing it straight out. If it's not blessed with the Spirit of God, it won't sound good. But now, there are some things that we like to hear done just a little bit better than others. And that's just the way it is. I like to hear these brethren when they're blessed to preach and they have that groan about them. That's just me. And I like to feel a brethren feeling get on fire and like to feeling and things. Standing and just talking don't do much for me. And today, and you don't, it just don't. If you went to a concert today, a rock and roll concert, and they got up there and they took a harmonica and began to sing, you'd want to get up and leave soon, wouldn't you? Listen today, because you went to hear rock and roll. Listen today, I believe that everyone that comes to church amongst the old Baptist family as a whole, they want to feel something in the meeting. They want to hear something in the meeting today. And somebody said, well, you're talking like it's a pre-mapped out situation. Friend, listen today. It was pre-mapped out a long time ago. And the plan laid out. But listen, it's not just the fact that we learn it by part. But we have to have something to put it in gear. And we have to desire that more than we do life itself. Today, and listen, somebody said, well, then what if it don't happen? Or what if God don't want to give it to you this Sunday? God wants to give it to us every Sunday. Listen, He wants to bless His children today. It's not His pleasure not to give us the kingdom, but it is His pleasure to give to us the kingdom. He said, listen today, it is your Father's good pleasure to give unto you the kingdom. And what's in that kingdom? And just pray. I don't want to take a long time. I know you've got business to do. Listen today. But you know what is in that good pleasure today? And what is that king? Listen today that Brother Josh and these brethren were talking about today. He said, there are Lord's many. And there are gods many, but unto us there's only one true and living God. Listen, one King of Kings. Brother Jerry began to talk about John when he was on the Isle of Patmos. Listen, and he said he fell at his feet. I believe is about where he left it, as dead. Listen, and I'm glad that throughout that John said that while he was there, that God showed him things that was, things that is, and things that are to come today. A friend, listen, he began to write, and he told him, John, you take and write in this book. And when I tell you to write, you write. And when I tell you to close the book, don't you write today. And John listened to him. And because John listened to him, he was shown things. He was blessed to see things. Brother Darrell, he said, listen, I'm glad that bless the good Lord tonight. He saw things that he wrote about that I don't understand. I believe, but I don't understand it all sometimes. But I believe every word that's written there. Listen, but I love the part that when he began, listen, to talk about, listen, he said, behold, I looked and I saw a pale horse rider, and listen, upon it, its rider was dead, and hell followed after it. Listen, and I read studied that one time when I was around, I believe it was 16 years old, and really studied that very close. I heard a brother one night in a funeral preaching over a sister that shouted out her day, and he began to say that horse rider came by her way the other night and took her out, and I just had a little problem with that. Listen, today when I read, listen, this pale horse rider, and upon it was dead. Listen, but hell followed after it. Listen today, friend, children of God, we only die one death. Listen, naturally in the body, but there's a death. Listen, and that's to be done inside. Oh, there's a death that, listen, today then, I'm going to tell you something that pale horse rider and hell following after, not going to touch us tonight, friend, but I'll tell you the horse and the rider that I plan to go after. Listen, and John saw that one too. Listen, oh, he said, behold, I looked and I saw a horn, and what color was it? It was white, and the sun, and the rider on that horse that came riding upon had something written upon it. And the sun, oh, tonight, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. The Son, and boy, I believe that was my Savior. He conquered and conquered it well. Today, a friend, and that's the horse that I want to come and get me when I leave here. The Son, oh, it's not the horse that I want, it's the horse that's going to come, listen, and take us home. Listen, do you believe that tonight? Listen, I do. It's right here, and I didn't write it. You didn't write it. Listen, but today I know a man, listen, that blessed some men to write, and I believe they done well. Listen, today, and that writer today, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Listen, hear me now, but believe me later, sister. One of these days, that same man that Jesus saw riding on a white, listen, that John saw riding on the white horse, he's coming and riding on something. It's not going to be a horse, brother. Listen, that time, oh, it's going to be a cloud of glory. Listen, coming after us. Listen, just give me 1 minute, Brother Clyde. Listen, today I saw, listen, something I want to share with you. Listen, bless the good Lord tonight. Today, it said, talking about prayer, I thought as we was on our knees, there's times I get down in prayer with brethren and I can't get connected with them. And listen, just can't feel it today. But I still try to say something. And then there's times, listen, it's like an even pattern, just going along. You can beat to the same tone, and you feel it moving today. Oh, I could have went home satisfied when Brother Darrell got up off his knee. Listen, because there was a few things that I prayed for there on my knees. That listen, I feel like the connection to heaven, and when you have that feeling, listen, boys, it's good today. It's good today. Listen, oh, it's better felt than told. Listen, I could talk all night and never tell you how good it is. Sister Sandra, listen, oh, but if you take for yourself, you know, because that you've experienced, you know. Listen, bless the good Lord, all praying us with much entreaty that we would receive the gift and take upon us the fellowship, listen, of the ministering to the saints. Listen, and this they said, not as we hoped, but first gave their own selves to the Lord. Listen, and said, by this the will of God. Listen, and so much we desired. Listen, hear what are you saying, Jason? Then listen today. I'm going to tell you something, friend. Today, the household of faith is children today. Listen, one of the brethren began to talk about, listen, the fall away. And I know some has different feelings on that. Listen today, bub. And I know some says, well, today you can have it and tomorrow it be gone. I'm going to tell you something. I got a little problem with that today. Listen, today, what do you have a problem with that, Brother Clyde? Listen, my God's powerful. He's all wise and knowing God. And there was a man, a rider, one time began to ride, and he got worried about, listen, a thorn in the flesh is what he called it. He called it a thorn in the flesh. Oh, listen, and he began to worry and wondering about keeping himself. And there came an answer from God. And he told him, you know what? I can hear him just right now saying to me, Jason, don't worry about that. Listen, I'm able to keep him. Listen, Daryl, don't sit around and put idle time in worrying about that. I'm able to keep you. Brother Clyde, he'd look at you and say, Clyde, quit worrying over that. I'm able to keep you today. Do you believe that tonight? Listen, somebody says, well, I don't know, I've done an awful bad thing, or I feel like I've sinned. Listen, join the party, brother.
Yes, sir, brother.
You're going to sin till the day you die. Listen, oh, I have a problem with men that feels like they're perfected, cannot sin no more. They probably are sinning more than we could ever imagine, brother. Listen, by saying that, even, listen, we'll sin till the day we die. Listen, it was condemned right here in the flesh. Listen, but that inward man, that's where it lies, brother. That's the part that's born again. If I listen to the inward man, Brother John, every day, every minute, I'd be perfect, Brother Mason. Listen, we don't do it, brother. Listen, you talk about perfect. Listen, oh, but when I see heaven swing wide, then I'll be perfect. And today, inwardly and outwardly will I be. Listen, I've heard him say many times, listen, if the inward part comes clean, so will the outward part. And today, don't know about that, Brother Clyde. Listen, I'm going to tell you something, brother. If that same inward part would come to the outside, boys, we'd be walking models today. Listen, everything would be perfect about it. We wouldn't have no wrinkles started today. Jason wouldn't have gray hair started. Listen, but I'll declare to you today, one of these days, listen, it'll be made anew, and they'll lie forevermore. The inward man, the inward man, that's what Paul was so bothered by. He began to talk about that warfare. And he said there's a constant warfare in between.
When I go to do good.
And you know what the constant warfare was? When I go to do good, He's present. But that constant warfare was just the inward part and this outward man that you see.
That's right.
And you know, today, you can get wrapped up in little things so much sometimes that today, that you can worry yourself to where that you're hindering yourself from being blessed. You're hindering yourself from having that connection that you need with God. Church, we need to understand and realize, and I've said it more here lately than ever, I grew up, and some of you brethren may have, but I honestly grew up in thinking that when a man was saved, and when a man felt like that God saved him, that he was perfect, could never do nothing wrong. Now you can laugh at me if you want to, but it was hard for me to believe that even some brethren that I had way up here would even do something as bad as to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I know.
I did. I wondered sometimes, that's how high up I put brethren. I wonder if they go to the bathroom and use the bathroom. You just think they were just so perfect that nothing you know, they wouldn't, it was just, you did that, Spotty.
It's not right.
And so then, being young and you feel like that you have God in your life and you join the church and here you are in junior high school and you go along and first bad thought you have, you think, well, must not be nothing to me. You know what? What was doing the thinking? It was this man right here.
Yes, it was, brother. Yes, sir.
But today, friend, but see, that was because of what I was raised to hear. But my inward part, if asked any time, any moment, who do you love more than anything in this world? If you ask me in any split second, I couldn't hesitate to give you one answer, and that's Jesus.
Amen.
He done more for me, Brother Jerry,
Yeah.
than what anybody else could ever do. And I hope tonight that we don't drift back in to perfecting this man so much that people just can never get comfortable. We are ministering, as I read to you here, that we're ministering unto people. And what we say to people, people listen to, brother.
Mhm.
They do. I did growing up.
Shapes their opinions.
I put my stock into what I heard. I would have took it to the bank. And I want people to understand, and I'm not telling people, somebody said, but I'm not saying it's all right to go out and do just anything.
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
And that's all right. But I used to be raised up where you'd hear them argue and get in the stand and say, now, I just wonder how far a man could go. Brother, that's hogwash to get in the stand and talk about.
Yeah.
How far anybody
See how
could go.
close we can live.
Brother Darrell, what you may make a God, Jason may not make a God.
That's exactly
What I may make a God, you wouldn't make a God.
Absolutely.
And today, it's not about the two rocks that was left behind with the 10 Commandments on them. But it's about one commandment that He left us, and that's to love the Lord thy God
Yeah.
with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. That's a lot of work, brother.
Yes, it is.
That's a lot of work. And we have to
Keep
do
us
that
busy.
daily.
Yeah.
And I could have went on preaching, but I went over and I told Brother Clyde, I said, let's use some of these younger brethren. I said, now, I didn't realize Darrell was over here up to that. I should have known he was up to no good. And because I didn't know if it would even work. And yeah, you will. Throw me to the wolves. And so then when I saw it work for him, I thought I could make it work for me. And it did to a point. And I tried to use Josh or Nathan, either one, and still ended up here. But that's why I want to cut it short, because I don't want to take a long time. Very tired, been up here the last few days, and I want to say like this, that I love being with these brethren, and love being with you all tonight, and it's always good news to hear when you have good meetings and do good, Brother Shepherd. I enjoyed my phone conversation with you a while back through the day. It gave me a good kick to go. And you know, the thing about it is that no matter how high the mountains get, no matter how low the valleys are, or whatever, nothing can separate us from the love of God. And no heights or no depths. And we have that love because He gave it to us.
Yes.
Not because Mom and Dad liked Jesus,
That's right, brother.
but because we were born of it.
Born of it.
And if you're here today and you really think that you know it all, I've often said like this, that you don't know nothing. You know nothing. But I do know one thing, that there's never been no one's ever done me, like the song says, as good as Jesus has done me. No one's ever been there. Never been there one time. Has there ever been a time that I've ever found that He's not been there? I failed Him a lot, but He's never failed me. And come on, you brethren, be glad to be with you. Come see us when you can. Brother Clyde's going to come, and